You still don't understand. You're below now, with the Nightbreed.
In this episode of Deep Dive into Horror, we uncover the dark, imaginative world of Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Explore the fascinating story behind this cult classic, where humans become the true monsters and the outcasts of Midian rise. We'll dive into the rich, twisted storyline, take a closer look at key characters like Boone and Dr. Decker, and reveal behind-the-scenes details from the film's troubled production. We'll also discuss the film's critical reception, its impact on horror, and how it separates itself from other genre films. Plus, we'll explore the director's cut, future remake possibilities, and Barker's lasting influence on horror.
The story begins with Aaron Boone, a young man plagued by nightmarish visions of a place called Midian, a mysterious city inhabited by monsters. These monsters, grotesque and strange, are not the terrifying creatures Boone fears at first. They are otherworldly, living in a world apart from humanity. Boone is confused, tormented by these vivid dreams, unsure of what they mean. In an effort to find answers, he seeks the help of Philip Decker, a prominent psychiatrist. Boone opens up about his nightmares, hoping that Decker can make sense of the twisted visions that haunt him. However, Decker has a dark secret of his own. Unknown to Boone, Decker is a cold-blooded killer, responsible for a series of brutal murders. Decker manipulates Boone, convincing him that he is responsible for the deaths. Shocked and horrified by the realization that he may be a murderer, Boone becomes desperate to escape his torment. Decker plants the idea that Boone must confess to the police, further driving him to despair. Meanwhile, Boone's girlfriend, Lori, is deeply concerned for his well-being. She loves Boone dearly but can see how troubled he has become, and she tries to help him through his struggles, even though Boone keeps much of his pain to himself. As Boone's mind unravels, he becomes obsessed with the idea of Midian, believing it might hold the key to his troubled mind. Boone decides to search for Midian. His journey takes him to a remote cemetery that hides the underground city of Midian. As he ventures deeper into the cemetery, Boone encounters strange, terrifying creatures, members of the Nightbreed, the beings from his nightmares. One of these creatures, Peliquin, attacks Boone but stops short of killing him, recognizing something different about him. Peliquin tells Boone that he belongs in Midian, that he is one of them. Before Boone can fully comprehend what's happening, the police, alerted by Decker, arrive at the cemetery. Believing Boone to be a dangerous killer, they open fire, shooting him multiple times. Boone appears to die from the gunshot wounds. However, due to Peliquin's bite, Boone doesn't remain dead for long. He awakens, reborn as one of the Nightbreed. Boone returns to Midian, drawn to its strange inhabitants. The underground city is revealed to be a sanctuary for the Nightbreed, a place where outcasts and monsters live in hiding, away from the persecution of the human world. Boone learns that the Nightbreed are not mindless beasts, but a community of individuals with their own culture and rules, seeking to live in peace. The leader of the Nightbreed, Dirk Lylesburg, and the ancient god Baphomet rule over Midian, ensuring that it remains hidden from humanity. Lori, devastated by Boone's apparent death, refuses to accept his loss. She begins her own search for answers, eventually discovering Midian and reuniting with Boone. Though she is initially horrified by the monsters that dwell there, her love for Boone compels her to stay by his side. Boone, now part of the Nightbreed, grapples with his new identity and responsibilities. He learns that the Nightbreed have long been persecuted by humans, forced into hiding because of their appearance and powers. Meanwhile, Dr. Decker continues his malevolent scheme. Obsessed with destroying the Nightbreed, Decker takes on his alter ego, Buttonface, a masked killer. He orchestrates a violent attack on Midian, manipulating the local police and a group of fanatical townspeople into believing that the Nightbreed are a dangerous threat. Decker's charisma and lies stir the humans into a frenzy, and they launch a brutal assault on Midian. The battle between the humans and the Nightbreed is bloody and devastating. Boone, now fully accepting his role as one of the Nightbreed, leads the defense of Midian. Despite his best efforts, the human forces overwhelm the Nightbreed, destroying much of the city. In the chaos, Boone faces off against Decker in a final confrontation. Decker, driven mad by his obsession with killing, reveals his true nature as a monstrous figure more terrifying than the Nightbreed themselves. In a climactic struggle, Boone defeats Decker, putting an end to his reign of terror. However, the victory comes at a great cost. Midian is left in ruins, and many of the Nightbreed are killed or scattered. As the dust settles, Boone is chosen by Baphomet to lead the remaining Nightbreed to a new home, a place where they can rebuild their society away from the cruelty of humans. Lori, unable to live without Boone, makes the ultimate sacrifice. She asks Boone to make her one of the Nightbreed so they can be together. Boone, reluctant but understanding her love and dedication, grants her wish. The two leave together, united in their shared destiny as members of the Nightbreed, vowing to find a new sanctuary for their kind. As the film ends, Boone, now known as Cabal, stands as a leader of the remaining Nightbreed, determined to protect them from the outside world. The story closes with a sense of hope. Despite the destruction of Midian, Boone and the Nightbreed will endure, continuing their search for a new home where they can live in peace, far from the hatred of humanity.
Okay, so are you ready to get a little weird?
Always up for some weirdness.
Perfect. Because this deep dive, we're tackling Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
Oh, nice. A classic.
Yeah, and it's so much more than just like your typical monster movie, you know?
Right. Barker definitely had something deeper in mind.
Totally. So we're going to unpack all of that. Like how Nightbreed flips the script on those classic horror tropes.
Yeah, it's like he takes that fear of the unknown, those things that go bump in the night.
Exactly.
And he asks, what if they're more of us than we are of them?
It's such a brilliant twist.
Yeah.
Instead of the monsters being the villains.
They're the misunderstood outcasts.
Yeah. Seeking refuge, forming their own society. And we're going to get into all that. But first we got to talk about Boone. This guy, he's haunted by these like crazy, vivid dreams, right?
Yeah, and he goes to this psychiatrist, Decker, looking for answers.
Oh, Decker.
But, Decker's got his own sinister thing going on.
He's not exactly the therapist you want to be spilling your darkest secrets to.
But see, Boone's journey, it's not just about escaping Decker or even figuring out the Nightbreed. It's about this feeling of being different,
Yeah.
of not belonging anywhere.
Yeah, that feeling of being the other. That's something I think everyone can relate to in some way.
Totally. And that internal struggle, it becomes even more intense when Boone starts to transform. Like physically, he's becoming one of them.
He's forced to confront that part of himself that he's been repressing.
And society tells him to fear.
Right, exactly. Like Barker saying, hey, sometimes the things that make you feel like a monster, those are the things that make you you. Oh, I love that. So we've got this fear of the unknown, the fear of being different, and then Barker drops us right into Midian.
Ah, Midian.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the most visually stunning and disturbing creations in horror.
It's true. How would you even describe a place like that?
It's like stepping into one of Barker's wildest dreams, this haven for the other, a hidden city teeming with these diverse, fascinating creatures. You've got Narcissus mutilating his own flesh, trying to fit in, just heartbreaking.
It's tragic, right? How societal pressure can manifest in such a visceral way.
Yeah, and then you've got Peliquin, all raw, animalistic energy, right?
Yeah.
He embodies those primal instincts that society tries so hard to repress.
And every Nightbreed, they represent something different, something unique. It's this incredible tapestry of...
the beauty of being different.
Yes. And that's what's so fascinating about Midian, right? This incredible blend of beauty and horror, this fantastical world hidden beneath the surface of everything we consider normal.
It makes you question those very norms, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, what if we embrace those differences instead of fearing them? What if the real monsters aren't the ones with fangs and claws, but the ones who persecute and destroy anything they don't understand?
Ooh, chills. And speaking of monsters, we got to talk about Dr. Decker.
Oh, yeah. Talk about your creepy psychiatrist. The fact that Barker got David Cronenberg to play him.
Genius casting.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Cronenberg, the master of body horror, this genre that explores our deepest anxieties about our own flesh, our own mortality.
And suddenly he's the embodiment of societal fear and repression.
It's brilliant and terrifying all at the same time.
Seriously, it sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. But you know what's even more terrifying? Decker, he's not some supernatural being.
He's all too human.
A reminder that the scariest monsters are often the ones that we create ourselves. So we've talked about how Barker kind of flips that whole monster movie thing on its head.
Oh, yeah.
But the story behind Nightbreed, the making of the film,
Yeah.
almost as wild as anything that's up on the screen.
Yeah, it's a whole other story, isn't it?
It is. We're talking like studio interference, creative clashes, Barker fighting to get his vision out there.
It's a classic case of suits versus artistry.
You can practically feel Barker's frustration.
Yeah.
Pouring his heart and soul into this project,
Yeah.
into this world that he's created, and then having it, carved up.
Right. And it's a shame because that that theatrical release, the one that hit theaters back in 90.
Yeah.
It just didn't do justice to what Barker was trying to do.
No, it's like they took this world, this uniqueness, and tried to cram it into a box.
It's exactly what they did.
Just another monster movie.
And for years, fans, we were whispering about a director's cut.
Oh, yeah.
This like mythical version of the film.
The rumors.
That stayed true to Barker's vision.
Yes.
And then, boom, 2014.
Oh, man.
It dropped.
It finally happened.
It was like a revelation.
It really was. Like seeing the film again for the first time.
Yeah,
the way it was intended.
And the director's cut, it just fleshes out the world so much more, you know? Particularly Midian and the Nightbreed's history. There's this whole subplot with their origins, and it adds so much depth to their culture and their motivations.
Wow.
They're not just these mindless monsters.
Right.
They're a civilization with a rich and tragic past.
It makes you think about them in a whole different way.
Right.
And those emotional moments
Oh, yeah.
that Barker is known for, they just hit you.
They really do, yeah.
It's raw. It's messy. It's powerful.
It's the full Barker experience.
It is. And you know what else? You can tell this wasn't just a job for Barker.
No.
This was personal.
It was his baby.
It was. And you see that in the director's cut.
Absolutely.
Oh.
It's not just a better version of the film. It's a testament to his vision.
To his passion.
Absolutely. And his love for these creatures.
Yes. This is the thing that gets me so excited.
Yeah.
You know, about the director's cut. Like, people got it.
Yeah, they did.
Critics, audiences, they were blown away. This wasn't just some like, oh, here's a little niche release for the fans.
Right.
People were raving about it.
It cemented Nightbreed as a cult classic.
It's true. And it proved that Barker was ahead of his time.
Absolutely. This film, it still feels relevant today. You know, it's still challenging those conventions.
For sure.
Making us think about identity, belonging, what it means to be human.
All thanks to a director who refused to compromise on his vision.
Exactly. He kept fighting for it even when the studio turned its back on him.
Which honestly just makes the whole thing even more incredible.
It really does.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
What's that?
How Nightbreed went from this, like, misunderstood film to a cult classic.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it still resonates with people even today.
It really does. It's like this testament to originality, you know?
Oh, really?
Wasn't afraid to push those boundaries.
Right.
To really tackle those big, complex themes, and it paved the way for a whole new generation of monster movies.
It gave us permission to sympathize with the creature, you know, to question that line between good and evil, and to find beauty in the unexpected.
And that's had such a huge ripple effect on horror, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about some of the most iconic monster movies, even recently.
Yeah, they owe a debt to Nightbreed, that empathy for the outcast, you know?
Yes.
That exploration of prejudice and fear.
It's like Barker was saying, hey, these creatures, not so different from us.
Right.
They're just trying to find their place.
Just trying to exist.
In the world, exactly. And that message, that's something that's still so relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Especially today. I mean, we're living in a world that's, dominated by fear and division.
It's true.
Nightbreed reminds us to look beyond the surface.
Yeah.
To embrace those differences, you know?
Find that shared humanity.
Exactly.
It's a powerful message.
It is. It really is.
So if you haven't already, I urge you, check out Nightbreed.
Oh, but
get ready for a wild ride.
Oh, you're going to have some thoughts after this one.
You really are. It's one of those films that just stays with you.
Definitely. And as you're watching it, as you're journeying into Midian, meeting these creatures, just ask yourself.
Ooh, yes.
In a world that often shuns the different, where do you find your own sense of belonging?
That's such a good place to end this deep dive, I think.
Yeah.
Lots to think about. Definitely.
So until next time, keep it creepy.